Hello and welcome to 2412. I'm Professor Algio here at Lone Star North Harris. And so this is kind of a welcome video to kind of go over what you need to know to get started and what to expect throughout the summer session. Just kind of, with any summer classes can move pretty quick, but let me go ahead and kind of show you where to get started. So you will not be able to access your D2L until the day our course starts, which is going to be on June 7th. So you're going to have to wait until then to actually have access to this. But once you get into your D2L, you should have one of these icons right here that will say Math 2412, section 011, I'm sorry, section 1001. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and we'll start to kind of take a look at this. So when you first get in here, you'll see announcements. I'll go ahead and display announcements here if anything comes up, or sometimes I'll post some reminders about it, exam coming up that will be due. So here we'll go ahead and go to content, and this is going to have a lot going on here. And so you can find the syllabus here, and we'll go over that in a minute. I also have a calendar. It's a pacing calendar to kind of give you an idea of what kind of pace you need to go at. Some of it, you can kind of work at your own pace, but the firm dates will be for the exams and when the homework is due. And we'll take a closer look at that in a minute. Then here, this is a link to the textbook we're going to be using. So you actually are not going to have to purchase a textbook. You might want a physical copy, and you can go ahead and print it out, or if you go to our bookstore, you can purchase it there, and it's going to be a lot cheaper than a real textbook. They'll actually give you a bundle of paper. They just print it out there basically and punch holes in it for you. So you can pick that up at the bookstore if you really want to. Then here, let's see, we have exam work 1, submission 2, 3, and so on. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That's just a place for you to submit to show your work on the exams. And then there's also one for the final exam. Here, let's see, we have some additional printouts and links here. So prereq review sheets right here. So if you want to get some extra help with some stuff, you'll see some stuff here. Calculator information and graph paper if you want to use some of that. Technology resources for students. That just kind of gives you the information for OTS if you're having any issues with your technology. And then let's see, link to additional math department videos. Oh yes, so that's where you're going to find all the lecture videos for our course, and we'll check that out too. But we'll go ahead and we'll go one by one through these. And so the first one we'll look at is syllabus. And so if you click on this, it will open it up. I'm going to go ahead. I believe I already have it open. So let's see, that's our calendar. Here is the syllabus. So I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit so we can see this better. So here we are, 2412 pre-calculus. We're Lone Star North Harris. And the way this course is going to work is it's online, and we don't meet at a specific time or day. Okay, so it's just kind of work on your own whenever you have the time. And like I said, we'll go over the calendar in a little bit once we're done with the syllabus. So I'm Professor Timothy Algio, and so you can contact me through D2L. That's a pretty easy way to contact me. But if you want me to make sure I get it within a couple hours, you might want to send it to my actual Lone Star email account. I don't know why they have them separate, but they are. And so this particular email is on my phone, and so I check that more frequently. So you're likely to get a quicker response, but either one's fine. Office hours, so if you want to meet on WebEx, that's fine. Typically Monday through Thursday, but I'm willing to do it on a Friday or even a Saturday or Sunday. I really don't care. Just all you have to do is contact me and request a day and time, and we can work it out. And this will actually be the link. Oops, well, I clicked on it. So yeah, so that will take you to my actual WebEx link to where you can meet me there. So you can actually just click on it and it'll take you there. So anyways, all you have to do is just email me and ask for that. But probably the most popular format is for students to email me their question, or actually even better, a screenshot, or just tell me a specific question from the notes or the homework that's giving you trouble. And what I'll do is I'll make you a personal video and I'll send you back a link with an explanation. And so that's probably the most popular format that students like to use. So the prerequisite is trigonometry, so you should have had that already to be prepared for this course. So materials needed, so no textbook is required. Notes and homework are going to be available for free on the Lone Star College webs online. Calculators, access to a calculator that has trigonometric and logarithmic functions is strongly recommended. There also, you can use Desmos if you want, and it's a free online calculator, and it can do everything that you're going to need for this course. So I wouldn't run out and spend a lot of money on a calculator. You know, really your phone calculator probably is going to be good enough, to be honest. But if you do want to get one, I mean, I like the TI-83 or 84 is going to be fine. It'll be more than enough, and you could probably buy one of those used fairly cheap, or you can use the Desmos if you'd like, or if you already have one, feel free to use that one. Even the Scientific will probably be fine. So let's see. Right here, this is just a link to the major course objectives and descriptions of the course. I'm not going to bore you with that, but if you want to look through that and if you have questions, feel free to email me. All right, so what you're probably more concerned about is how am I going to be evaluated? So the way this is going to work is we have homework checks that are going to be in D2L, and I'll show you those in a moment. And that will make up 15% of your grade. Then 4 regular exams will be 65%, and then your final will be 20%. Okay, and then I don't want to read this word for word, but you can go ahead and read through the grading policy. It's basically your grade is what it's going to be at the end, and so just keep that in mind as you work through the semester for what grade you're shooting for. Okay, so don't, basically at the end, we don't want to be begging for extra credit and that kind of stuff. Now, with that said, the final exam, I will, if you perform better on the final exam than one of your lowest of your 4 regular exams, I will replace it. So I don't drop your lowest exam grade. I'll actually replace it with how you perform on the final exam. Okay, and that is actually going to be mentioned down here with the exam policy. So the final exam can also replace the one lowest regular exam grade only if that final exam grade is higher, which it will be. Don't typically have it to where your final is your lowest of all your exam scores. That doesn't typically happen. Okay, back up here though to the homework. So your homework's in D2L. So the way this is going to work, and I'm going to show this to you in a minute, you're going to watch some videos that we have posted, and there's notes that go along with it, and there's going to be homework at the end. That's going to be your paper homework. That will not be graded, but if you don't practice that, you're probably not going to do very well on the homework checks. And so once again, I'll show you that in a moment. But once you're done with that, you'll go into D2L, and we have these homework checks. And they're not super long, you know, it's just to make sure you got the concepts down, and you actually will get 3 attempts. So if you're not happy with your first attempt, you can always take it a second or a third time. It will take your highest. So let's just say, you make a 80 the first time and then a 70 the second time. It will actually go ahead and default to the highest of your attempts for each one. And we'll look at that a little bit closer in a minute. Okay, exam policies. So the exams, so not just the homework checks, but the exams and the final exam will all be completed within D2L. Okay, and so to access the exams, you'll click on course activities and then quizzes. And once again, I'll kind of walk you through that in a minute. The exams can only be taken once. So not like the homework checks, sure, you get multiple opportunities because it's practice. That's what we're trying to do. But when it comes to the exam, you'll have one attempt. The exams will be timed with a limit of 3 hours each. That should be plenty of time. Graphing calculators and the use of Desmos are permitted on all exams, so don't refrain from using your calculator, that's fine. Notes are allowed also, it's going to be open notes. The exam will consist of multiple choice, matching, fill in the blank, and short answer questions. Look carefully at your answer choices before choosing them. Part of the exam is choosing the correct choice from the one shown or entering the answer correctly following the directions on the exam. While some partial credit may be given, points may be lost if the wrong answer is selected, even if the work submitted is correct. Students should not share answers and should not collaborate on exams. Okay. You cannot use non-Lone Star websites. Apps are not allowed to be used on the exams. The work submitted on the exam should be your own independent work. On the exams, you'll be asked to verify the statement. I'm not going to read through this, but basically it's an honor statement that it's your work and only your work, okay? Let's see, so grading and earning partial credit on exams. So the way you're going to earn partial credit is that you're going to, and this will actually be optional. At the end of your exam, you have to submit it within an hour of submitting your exam. You can submit your work for your exam. And so that we'll look at that in D2L, but it's under exam 1, work submission, and there's exam 2, and so on. And what you'll do is you'll create a PDF document of your own work, okay? And it needs to be one document, so please don't send me, 5 or 6 documents for each page. You need to make sure you send it as a single document, and there's different ways you can do it. You can scan it, or you could even take a picture of it. And there's actually this software right here, this Adobe right here, Acrobat, that you can download for free, and you can have an iPhone or Android, and you can actually take the pictures. But what's important, though, is to make sure that it's arranged properly, it's nice and neat, and I can look through it easily to grade it to give you partial credit. Now remember, this is optional, but if you want to try to earn a couple extra points through partial credit, this would be the way to do it. So here are the requirements. Work must be submitted within an hour of submitting your exam. If the work is not provided within 1 hour of submitting the exam answers, no partial credit will be given. Late submissions will not be accepted. Okay, your submissions need to be through D2L, and they will close after 11:59 on the due date of the exam. Okay, do not email your work. Make sure you submit it through D2L. The work must be clear and large enough to read. Okay, so once again, just kind of make sure it's nice and neat. I know during an exam, sometimes you get nervous, but just try to be nice and neat. Problems should be arranged on the page vertically and clearly numbered in sequential order. So make sure you're not jumping all around. I understand, once again, on exams, sometimes you don't go in order, but you need to kind of keep that in mind when you're with your scratch paper or whatever. Make sure you leave yourself room if you're going to skip around, so they can be nice and neat. So anyways, I'm not going to read through all this, but you can, just to make sure before you submit it, to make sure it's done properly, and so that you can have an opportunity for that partial credit on exams. Okay, this is just kind of more about just kind of keeping in mind how this works. And so once again, you can kind of read through it. Okay, participation. This just is basically saying that you need to keep up with your assignments with at least a 50 by the due date. I mean, you're going to have a hard time being successful if it's not higher than that. But if it's not at least that high, I'm going to kind of assume that you're checked out, and that could leave you open to being dropped. So just keep that in mind. It may lead to you being dropped, okay? And so once again, I kind of want to let you read through that yourself. I don't want to just read off of the screen. And then if you have questions or concerns, be sure to contact me. This is just kind of instructions for when you email me, just to kind of make sure you include this information so I can get back to you as quickly as possible, so I'll know who you are and what class you're in and so on. Accommodations. If you have any accommodations, you just need to make sure that you get me that paperwork as soon as possible so I can make sure and honor those. Makeups. Makeups are not allowed on any of the assignments. You're going to have plenty of time. We're going to look at the calendar in a minute. So emergencies do happen, but that means that you need to not wait till the last minute. Okay, so I give you, you'll see in the calendar in a moment, you have plenty of time. So you just need to make sure you don't wait till the last minute, because things do happen. You can read through the grade releases if you want. Let's see, withdrawal. Our last day to drop is going to be July 1st. That's on our calendar also. Once again, don't assume I'll drop you. If you decide that that's what you want, it's going to be your responsibility to fill up that paperwork. Let's see. A lot of this stuff is, you'll see these on all the syllabus for Lone Star. Some of these are just minors on campus statement, my Lone Star, academic integrity, emergency notification, and so on, and then the COVID prevention expectations. So this is just information if you do plan on coming on campus. Some of these may be lifted in the summer. I believe that they are going to lift the procedure of checking in online. So you'll just have to find out if you do decide to come onto campus. They may have some other types of protocols, but these have been the protocols in place for about a year now. So, okay, so I know it's a lot of information. That's the syllabus. I don't want to bore you by reading every little detail, but please look over it. Let's go ahead and take a look at D2L again. So here, let's see, we got our calendar, textbook, and then the exam work submission. So let's go to calendar next. So once again, if you click on this, it's going to open a window, and I've already got one open here, so I'm going to open that. And so here we are. So on Monday, the required work is to read the syllabus. That's kind of what we're went over that. Orientation quiz. Okay, so that's going to be a quiz. It's in D2L, and I'll show it to you in a minute. Just kind of ask you some basic questions about the syllabus, just to make sure that you're aware of the expectations. Okay, and actually this calendar will help you also with the orientation quiz, because it will ask you some due dates and stuff like that. Then there's some trig review videos that you'll want to go ahead and watch. These will help you complete the prerequisite quizzes. So over here in red, the orientation quiz and the algebra prerequisite quiz and the trigonometry prerequisite quiz are due on Sunday, June 13th. So if you want to, those quizzes, the orientation quiz, you actually only get 2 chances on the orientation quiz, but all the other ones you'll get 3 opportunities. So if you want, you could try the algebra one because you're actually supposed to know that. So go ahead and try it. If you do okay, then great. If not, you can go back and watch some of these videos and I'll show you where to find them in a minute. Then same thing with the trigonometry prerequisite quiz. Go ahead, try it. If you do okay, great. If not, go back and watch those videos also. So let me go ahead and show you where those are real quick. So those are going to be down here under additional printouts and links. So it's right here, algebra and trigonometry review videos. So here are a bunch of videos on topics that are covered in that prerequisite quiz. So the quadratic formula, square root method, so these are all the algebra topics. And then here are all the trigonometry review topics right here. And they're fairly short videos, they're not super long, okay? And so they just kind of review those concepts to prepare you for the prereq quizzes. All right, let's see. All right, so here, okay, so the calendar kind of gives you an ideal pacing. This, I kind of basically set it up how I would do it if we were in person in class. Okay, this is about the pace I would go. So first day would be the orientation, and I would do a little review with y'all on algebra and trigonometry. And then on Tuesday, we would do trigonometric equations part 1. Now that is part of our actual curriculum for pre-calculus. And so those are separate videos, and I'll show you where those are in just a second. And then Wednesday I would do part 2, and then Thursday would be parabolas. I'm sorry, Thursday parabolas, and then the following week we'd hit ellipses and hyperbolas. And then here on Tuesday, June 15th, that's your first day that you can take the exam. It will be available. If you're ready for it, great. If not, you have all the way till the 20th. So I give you about 5 days to take each exam, so that's plenty of time. You really don't want to wait till the last day because you need to start on the next unit here, parametric equations, partial fractions, and so on. So ideally, you kind of want to take it right there on the 15th, maybe the 16th. Now, I understand things happen, you might not take it on those days, and that's okay. But probably around June 10th or so, maybe a little after that, I will post a exam 1 outline. So it's not really a review, but it gives you an outline of what to expect. So it might narrow it down a little bit on what to really focus on to prepare for the exam. And that'll be something that I will post under announcements in D2L. Okay, so where are we going to find these videos? Let's go ahead and look at that. So if you go back to D2L, so here's the e-text. If you click on this, it's a big file. It's around 200 pages, and it was actually created by Professor Trinnell here at our campus right here. And so the nice thing is it's free to use. And so here we go. Her first topic was vectors. We're going to go in a little bit of a different order, but here we go. It's numbered. The pages are numbered, page 1, 2, and so on. And you can print this out yourself if you want, or you can go to the bookstore and have them buy a copy that they have printed themselves. And it's not too expensive. I don't know offhand how much it is, but probably somewhere around $20, give or take. So it's not too expensive. Let's see. So when you, let's see. Okay, here we go. Here, there's a link to this page in D2L. I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. So if you go down at the very bottom, it says link to additional math department lecture videos. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then the link is up here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and it's going to open up that page I just was at right there. And so you can see she has vectors for her part one. So this is an old calendar of hers, okay? Don't worry about the calendar. It's not the calendar we're using. We're just coming here to access the videos. And so we're actually going to be starting right here on the trig equations part 1A, and then you'll want to do part 1B also on that same day of the calendar. So let's go back to the calendar. There we go. So there's part 1. You'll want to do part 1A and part 1B. And so from here, you can watch the videos, and then it also tells you what page in the notes you can find that on. And then it also tells you where the homework is located. So the homework is going to be page 55, questions 1 through 17. And so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let me go ahead and pull that back up. So our e-text, here we go. So page, here we go. I went a little too far, but okay, here we go. There's trig equations part 2, actually. Trig equations part 1. So here we go. This is actually where you're going to start. That's where this video will start, part 1A. And she broke it up into 2 parts just because you don't want the videos to be super long. And this actually should still be a review as you work through this. This is going to be a review from trigonometry. And then here's part 2. Okay, continuation basically of part 1. And then after that, there are some homework questions right here. So here are the problems. There's a bunch of them. There's actually 34 of them, okay? So you'll want to work through those, and then here are the answers. So I have the answers right here for you, okay? Watch the videos, work these homework problems, okay? Now these aren't worth anything though as far as your grade's concerned, but it's going to make a big difference whether you complete the paper homework or not. And you know, let's say that you're having a problem with question number 8, okay? Well, say, you know, send me an email and say on page 55, number 8, I'm having a hard time. Could you send me a video explanation? I'll go ahead and make you a video and send it back to you. So that'll probably be the easiest way for you to get some one-on-one help. Let's see. Okay, so once you've done that, then what we're going to do is if you go to quizzes, here are the quizzes. So you'll have an orientation quiz that's due on the 13th. You know, I wouldn't wait till then. Just knock it out, get it out of the way. Same thing with the prereqs. Get those knocked out of the way. Go ahead and try them, and if you need help, then you can go back and watch some of those review topics. And you get 3 attempts on those. And then here is your homework check right here for trig equations part 1. And then you have one for trig equations part 2. And all the homework is due on the last day that the exam is available. So that's kind of why I mentioned at the beginning that there won't be any you know, late work accepted, because you have till the 20th. You know, we're supposed to be finishing it up on the 14th. You have plenty of time. Don't wait don't wait, because that's when you get in trouble. That's when things do happen, and I don't want that to happen to you, okay? So I give you plenty of time to finish the assignments, so just know that these dates are firm, okay? Let's see. So kind of give you an idea of what the home or the quizzes look like. I'll go ahead and show you on the, or we can click on this one, doesn't matter. So let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and preview it. Start my quiz. There we go. So looks a lot like the notes and the homework for the notes, and that's exactly where it's designed from. So right here it says select two correct answers, because there is two correct answers where cosine of angle x is equal to 1/2. Okay, so you can see you have quite a few options right here, but it tells you right here that there's two correct ones, so you want to pick the two correct ones. Then question 2, once again, kind of looks familiar to some of the video notes and the homework from that page. So anyways, 10 questions, not too much right here. Once again, two correct answers. So anyways, you want to get in here and start playing around with this so that you can get your questions answered sooner than later. Because if we wait too long, then it might be too late, right? So let's make sure we get a jump start on all this stuff. So exam 1 encompasses everything prior to that highlighted box here for June 15th, and then June 16th through the 23rd, that's going to be your exam 2 material. And then and that homework, I don't know why that it should say the homework's due on the 28th. I believe I fixed that for the D2L link. And then your third exam and fourth exam are a little bit shorter. They have a little bit less material. So the first two exams have a little bit more to them than the last two. And then your final exam here will be taken one of those last 2 days of class. It's kind of up to you, whichever one works best for you. And that will be done on the computer as well. And then once again, let's say that you make a 85 on the final exam, and exam 2 was your lowest score, and it was a 63 or whatever. That 63 would get replaced with that 85 from your final exam. So that's kind of how that process is going to work. Okay, so what you're going to have to do here, there's going to be a little work on your part to figure this out. It's not super difficult, but what you're going to do is look at the topic, and then you're going to have to go to the calendar with the links here and watch it. It should go in order from here. So trig equation part 1, trig equation part 2, parabolas, ellipses, hyperbolas, and then we are going to skip a couple topics right here, the rotation of conics, and then you're going to go to parametric equations. Let me pull up there we go. Parametric equations, and then looks like you skip a couple things and you go to partial fractions, and then sequences, geometric sequences, and arithmetic sequences. So right here, so it looks like you're going to skip this box right here, and we're going to go on to sequences, arithmetic sequences, and series, and so on. Okay, so just if you have any questions or concerns, just let me know, and I'll try to help you out here. But it's pretty straightforward. You just need to find these topics on this calendar, which you have a link to from D2L, and that should help you out. Okay, so once again, let me get out of here so I can show you where that link is in case you've forgotten. It's actually the last thing on the list down here. It's the last thing on the list. Link to additional math department lecture videos. So that there's a link right there. And so that's something you'll probably want to put in your save in your toolbar up there. Okay, so your work submissions. So this will look a little different on your end than my end, since I'm on the administrative end. But when you click on it, this once again kind of gives you detailed directions on how you're supposed to submit it to make sure you can get partial credit. Pretty much a lot of this stuff is the same stuff you'll find in the syllabus, just kind of explaining exactly how to do it. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll click here to submit it. You'll click on the exam one work submission, and it'll come up with, like I said, it'll look a little different on your end, but you'll have a part where you can attach it. And so go ahead and attach a single document, attach your the work, your scratch paper or whatever. Make sure it's organized for your exam, and I can go ahead and go through it and award partial credit to your exam. Okay, so I'm trying to think if I missed anything, but I think that's about it. So you'll have a way to submit your work for each exam, and then also the final exam. I think we've gone over everything. So if you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out. Just a quick review. So under additional printouts and links, there's a list of algebra and trigonometry review videos. So you can watch those to help you with the prerequisite quizzes to get you ready for this course. We want to make sure you got that foundation there ready to go. So these videos will help you if you need them. Some of you might not need them. Some of you might take those quizzes and you're fine. But we want to make sure we have that foundation. There's some other documents in here like a unit circle that would definitely be helpful. That would be, if you don't have a copy of that, you'll want to print one out. Just some other basic trig summary stuff that can help you out. Let's see. Desmos, the online graphing calculator, if you want to kind of play around with that. Graph paper, there's different kinds of graph paper, and if you want to print any of that out. Here are some interactive links to kind of wrap your head around some of the conics, so that might be a little bit helpful. Let's see, remember, here's the link to the actual lecture videos. Okay, so those are the lecture videos. That's where you're going to get the links to all the videos for the titles you're going to see in the calendar. Okay, so remember, we're not going in this order. Our last unit, we start with vectors. So we just, the order for some of these topics don't matter, and in this case, it won't matter. Okay, pre-calculus is really just a combination of all the prereqs that you've taken over the years combined to prepare you for calculus. So it's just really a lot of algebra and it's a lot of trigonometry, and that's basically it. So a lot of these topics you'll have already seen before, just you take a little deeper dive, but for the most part they should be familiar to you. All right, I think that's going to be it. So there's the e-text, and if you have any questions or concerns, like I said, don't hesitate. Don't wait until we're already behind. So if you have a question or a concern, make sure you contact me as soon as possible. And I'm looking forward to working with y'all over the summer semester.